All right, what's good, man? Another day, another boxing conversation with Reggie Owens. Just kidding, not me. Boxing conversations with Fannon. Straight stealing Reggie Owens' name in that. Shout out to Reggie Owens. Subscribe to Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. So we will wait till cats come in the buildings. Most of you guys came in here, like chipped in to say what's up around 10:55 and 11:13. So I'm going to assume that some cats still need to actually get into the room. So we will do it and handle it in that capacity. But let's say what's up to the people that are here. What's going on? Drew in the building, man. What's good, man? You at the gig today, Drew? Randy Hardaway. What's going on, man? Crust the Legend. What's going on? Straight Zeke in the building. Marvin Kennedy. What's going on, man? Kane the bad guy, people are always gonna dislike me. You're gonna get the dislike. I get a dislike as soon as we hit the door, man. But make sure you guys hit the like on the way in the door, man. Bruce Winfield said Tyson is old and rusty after 15 years off, and his lungs are blown out. Drew Titan in the building. Brothers UK, Tunnel Vision, Tay Brown, Outlaw Jr., Nuke Juice, Steve J, Brian Cousins. Y'all hit the like on the way in, man. We got almost 100 people in here real quick. Hit the like button, man, while I read y'all names off. Outlaw Jr. in the building. What's going on, Nuke Juice? Tay Brown. I have been watching some of your I'm catching up on, was it Wine and Grind? I can't remember the name of the show, but the wine spot or the liquor spot, I've definitely been checking you out on there. Sherrod Arrington, what's going on? Jay Lex, Braveheart Spartan, what's good? James Kemp, Casey Cohen, all right, man, what's going on? Gun-toting Democrat, Jesse Kumba in the building. Tyson Fury Mike Tyson looks good for 53, but that don't mean he ain't gonna get his ass whooped. I ain't wasting my look. The liquor spot. Thank you, man. Thank you. Let me make sure I put that up at the top so y'all know to check out the liquor spot. The liquor spot. Excellent for romance conversations and boxing. Gotta love it. Charlo brothers can't be missed. They coming like a truck. So what's up? All right, so let's get it going, man. We got 100 people here yet. According to this count over here, we're just at about 100. As soon as it peaks its head over 100, we're gonna get going, man. Blood Tyson is gonna kill Roy. Roy can't stop smoking and drinking. He even made a song about it. Roy Jones? I ain't never known Roy Jones to do a lot of smoking and drinking, dude. Mike Tyson, ton of smoking and drinking. Bunch of drinking. I don't know about bunch of smoking. I don't know about the drinking, man. But look, let's get to this, okay? Cause I don't know what to do. I had a moment of God, man, I'm having a moment of indecision. And I need your help. Devin versus Gary Russell. We'll get to Gary Russell in a second. I got Gary Russell coming up. I don't want to get off this topic and go too far. But Devin Haney versus Gary Russell. That shit's not happening. Gary Russell Jr. is too small. It's just foul but Gary Russell Jr., it's a good, he said, C-Cup for 9. You had 2 people dislike your video, and he hadn't even started. I stay on their mind. You know they love it. But all right, here, man. Gary Russell Jr. said he broke Bud's jaw. I wouldn't doubt. I mean, it could have happened. Hold on one second. I got to take notes, make sure I don't miss anything. You tripping, bro. Gervonta Davis versus Gary Russell. Let's see what he can do with Gary Russell. You seen him. You seen what Loma did. You talking about I'm tripping? Dude, Gary Russell Jr. is a 126-pounder, man. He's 122, 126-pounder. If he wasn't so muscular, he'd be at 122 pounds. The people that need to be talking about fighting Gary Russell Jr. are Monster Inoue, Navrati, All those guys down there at shit, Leo Santa Cruz, Shakur Stevenson, all those guys up underneath them, those are the guys that need to be fighting Gary Russell Jr., man. I mean, the fact that Gary Russell Jr. has to say something about Terrence Crawford, or he has to say something about Devin Haney, or say something about these guys that are much bigger than him, tells you what leads you, or is an example of what the problem is in boxing. And that's what I'm going to cover. And that's what I'm going to cover in this video and what I talked about in my videos today. Look, man. Oh, not you, the other guy. That's cool. I just kind of take it. If I read a chat, if I read something in the comment section, I'm going to read it like it's to me. So if I get offended at you, please excuse me. I'm just in a little bit of a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Because I like to stay in the comment sections. So sometimes I miss it. But here, man, let's get to the meat of the video, man. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. is horse shit. There's no other way. Exactly. Just like Brothers UK said, Fannon, this looks like a gateway to a lot of recycled oldies, and the young and upcoming will miss out, claiming there's no other money. I don't care to watch. I can't support that I can't support that horse shit. I'm not going to support that horse shit. You have, if Mike Tyson could have maybe never been Mike Tyson if Muhammad Ali didn't get sick, right? But the media just refused to promote Mike Tyson. And Muhammad Ali said, you know what? I've been retired for a couple years. You know, I feel better after the Larry Holmes fight. I'm going to come back and have an exhibition fight with Joe Frazier. Right when Mike Tyson is about to have a fight with, say, Trevor Bourbon. And Muhammad Ali says, no, I'm going to come back. I'm going to have a fight with Joe Frazier the same night. Or their fight gets announced. Then Muhammad Ali makes his announcement about Joe Frazier 4. And the media, because they don't like Mike Tyson, or Mike Tyson is promoted by Don King, and Don King has a dysfunctional relationship with the media decides that they're going to push the Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier fight. Joe Frazier had been retired for 10 years. Muhammad Ali's been retired for multiple years and has Parkinson's, and is well past his prime. But that's the fight that they're going to talk about. That's what the media is going to push out and continue to push out. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. It's just horse shit. It's a horse shit fight. It's not even a real, this is a step below Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. This is a step below that. Because first of all, you know you're not getting anything good out of that fight. You know it. You know it. You know. I know. You know. There ain't nothing going to come out of that fight. Yeah, Leonard would keep coming back, but dude, Leonard wouldn't time in his shit with anyway, yeah, he came in and out, but he was never like this. He left, he retired, he came back, he was still within his regular, within his years of boxing. He and Tommy Hearns not deciding to have a comeback fight right now. Dude, Mike Tyson has not been a legitimate contender. He's not been a legitimate contender in the heavyweight division since the 90s. For over 20 years. Roy Jones Jr. has not been a serious contender in the sport of boxing in at least the last 10 years, at least the last 12 years. 10, 12 years. Since he's been, or 14 years, I'm sorry. 14 or 15 years. You got guys 20, 15, and 20 years out of their prime. Now, I don't have an issue with them doing it. Mike Tyson is trying to sell a gang of weed, dog. Mike Tyson's like, I'm going to sell my weed. It's legal in Vegas. And the first thing that he said, right? First thing he said when he announced it, what did he look like? He looked like this. Me and Roy Jones Jr. coming back to fight. Dog, come on, man. You blowing a joint? You blowing a joint when you're announcing a comeback? Dude, that shit ain't serious. That ain't serious at all, dude. So, but I don't have an issue with Mike Tyson trying to sell his weed. I don't. I don't have a problem with Roy Jones Jr. getting a nice payday, sparring Mike Tyson and having some of his fighters fight on the undercard, right? Because you're going to wind up getting a series of decent fights on the undercard, right? So I don't have an issue with that. My issue is with the media. My issue is with the media covering that when you have real fighting to talk about, dog. What's good, Thrill Hill? Brothers UK said, Fannon, you on point. This is not a good look. Let the freak show begin. Yeah, dude. Hey. Smoke weed every day. That's Mike Tyson. That's where Mike Tyson is, man. Much love in that super chat. Thank you so much, sir, for the support. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. So this shit is just, it's a trash ass fight. Okay. Kane the bad guy. It's no different than YouTubers fighting. It will attract casual, but won't stick around for the relevant fights, man. Dude, it's better than a YouTuber thing because these guys are actually, it's just a trash fight. Like I said, though, I would not mind seeing it. I wouldn't mind seeing it. But the media covering it instead of covering the good fights that are taking place, as much as I bash, it's slightly better. It's slightly better. Not a lot better. Slightly better. And it's slightly, the Kane the bad guy, the reason why it's slightly better is that Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson will have enough sense to put headgear on. They will have enough sense to put headgear on, and it will actually be somebody that knows how to fight, right? Not the guys. So the YouTube crap is just a spit in the face to boxing. Like that's that's how I'll say it. It's probably a better way to say it. It's not trash, but it's overrated. It's pretty highly trash. I mean, unless you take it for what it is. If you take it for what it is, then it's not trash. It's two men that you want to see, that you are big fans of when I was their age, when I was in my prime. So for me, let's put it that way. When I was in my physical prime, Mike Tyson was close to his physical prime, and Roy Jones Jr. was in his physical prime. So to see the guys that were super athletes when I was an athlete, right? Because I was a very, very good athlete, but those guys were super athletes. And there were super athletes that were around the same time, that are roughly the same age as me. They're both older than me. I ain't that old. The motherfuckers both older than me. However, so that could be good for me. You know what I mean? So it's an exhibition. My fight is cool. Again, so I just got to make sure that I want to make sure. He said they won't put on headgear. They ain't puppies. It's on. And they put my understanding is they got 30-ounce gloves and headgear. The headgear would be ridiculous, though. I mean, that would kind of ruin it. But still, it's ruined from the beginning, dog. Oh, Jesus Christ. They also got, I forgot about that. They also got NBA player Nate Robinson and YouTuber Jake Paul on the undercard. Just horseshit. All around C-cut, 100%, just grade A, Mexican meat style, computerol filled cow shit. You know what I mean? Like not just the normal bullshit. That it's that Canelo Alvarez type of bullshit. The ones that are hyped up on computerol. What up, Fannon? Late, but I'm here supporting the best. Thanks, Wells. How's fun? Yeah, it's just horseshit. It's terrible. But I got to get off them and get on to what I have to get on to what is for real. I'm tired of this grandfather thing, though, okay? Guys that are 52, 51, and 54 are not grandfather age until I become a grandfather. When I'm a grandfather, that's grandfather's age. Until then, yeah, Fannon be lying. He was washing Jesus's feet back in the day. First of all, dog, I ain't never washing no niggas' feet. Okay? You can forget that shit. Say they fighting in 30-ounce gloves. They need to. Come on, man. I don't want to see that dude get hurt. You ain't looking for no real fight. You're not looking at that fight looking like, oh, who's going to win? That ain't a real. That's like I said, it's an exhibition. Let it happen. You ain't putting no money on the fight. It's just probably going to be a draw. You know, that shit. But I did hear, though, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get to, Dre perspective. The Jermell Charlo, I know grandfather's your age. I don't, so they just had kids young. Don't put that shit on me. Now I know I got a grandniece. My sister has a my sister, my older sister has a granddaughter. So I have a great niece. So yeah, technically speaking, yeah, absolutely. How old? Let me see. If I had, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. If I had a baby when I was 25 and she'd be 25 right now, she could have a baby. So yeah, I'm a granddaddy age. Yeah. Fuck. Young grandpa status. Thank you. I'm young grandpa, dog. The great uncle Fannon. Yes, sir. Bumpy Thompson says, stop talking about smoking weed. A fighter named Livingston Bramble smoked weed every day and fought for a long ass time. I know better people is jokes. That's all right, I know. But you know, edibles. Why don't you fuck with some edibles so you don't have to fuck your lungs up? Get all the benefits and none of the other shit. Some of us are grandpappies at 35. Yeah, Snack Bees, you was getting it in early. You was doing some. But look, man, I do got to get on the more serious topic now. Okay? Got to get on the more serious topic. Fuck the media. Okay? Fuck the boxing media. Even though to Steve Kim. To Steve Kim. Can you believe that I'm applauding Steve Kim? I know he did it on accident, and there's probably some reason he did it. Like he's trying to tank somebody else. But you know how they say the enemy of your enemy is my friend? You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, Steve Kim can be my friend for today and today alone for this particular incident. And that's it. When he put out there, man, Canelo Alvarez about to sue them fucking DAZN. DAZN, Steve Kim. The article busting out DAZN. The Canelo Alvarez's lawyer. Now he's talking to Canelo Alvarez's lawyer. Like right there, that tells me, why is Canelo Alvarez's lawyer making public statements through Steve Kim about Canelo Alvarez and DAZN? Yay, can, infamous LSG. Yay, can. Yes, he can. You ain't lying. But I found it interesting because why would the lawyer be saying something? But what the guy, he said, well, we're just waiting here for DAZN to meet its obligations. Oh, that was a knife. He said, we're just working out and training and waiting for DAZN to live up to its obligations. He said, if Steve Kim were in this chat, I would still block him. He probably has been in the chat. Steve Kim's been in this chat. Steve Kim knows who I am. Steve Kim knows this chat. Steve Kim been in the chat. I'm sure you motherfuckers have all blocked Steve Kim at some point in time. Y'all probably blocked Dan Rayfield, Steve Kim. I'm positive you fucking blocked Tyson Fury his fucking self. Okay? Dog, we big, homie. We big. You got to know, we big. We big. I'm going to say it again. We big. Minister E. Price said, Fannon, do you think the Charlos are better boxers than Daniel Jacobs? Yes, I do. Absolutely, I do. Without a doubt, I do. I think that they're both better boxers than Daniel Jacobs. But Daniel Jacobs is a very good fighter. But I think both Charlos are better than him. Demetrius Andrade is better than him too. Black Samurai in the building said, yo, what's good, Fannon? Canelo gonna mess around and leave Golden Boy if Oscar ain't careful. Look, let me tell you where the whole of Canelo should have been. Should have been. Should have been done bid. Let me say, how can I say this? Should have been there. Should have been done been there. If it wasn't for DAZN, he'd be there. He need to be at the PBC. There ain't no doubt about where his ass need to be. Canelo Alvarez ass need to be with the motherfucking BC, because they're the ones that have the platform that will make him the most money. Easy. Until DAZN tried to get cute. Because DAZN got cute and matched his pay-per-view totals. Because I told you, y'all don't remember. Tell me if y'all remember this. Because I said this when HBO crashed. People were like, well, where's Canelo gonna go? And I said, my thing was, damn, that's funny, because where he should go is to the PBC. He should go there. But no, Dre's perspective, they're not going broke. They're not going bankrupt. No, they're not. They just trying not to pay Canelo. They bought, and that's what I'm saying, Steve Kim's article was a knife. His shit was a knife. I was mighty fucking impressed there, Mr. Kim. You put a heap. You say, you remember me saying that? Yeah. Because I was like, look, Canelo should go to the PBC. But I couldn't see him go to DAZN because I'm like, DAZN seems like where they would want to go. But DAZN, because Oscar De La Hoya and Al Heyman don't get along. So Golden Boy teaming up with Golden Boy, explain it for you. Oh, they're not going to go bankrupt because they just got invested like what do they just invest $400 million in to buy the rights to some soccer in the UK? Dog, they still laundering money. They ain't going to go out of business because they ain't in business to make money. My understanding from Steve Kim, and this is from me looking at the article, I'd have to read it again. I make sure you go validate these specific numbers, okay? I'm giving you the best that I can recall. That it was $400 million that they spent to buy the rights to a soccer league in Europe. So since they did that, they got money, but they're asking Canelo to take a pay cut so that they can redirect some of the money that they're supposed to pay him to pay the people he would fight, right? So you have, say, like Billy Ho bitch ass Saunders, right? Billy Ho bitch ass chicken throwing and running ass ho ass Billy Saunders was supposed to fight Canelo, right? And he was like, Canelo needs to take a pay cut. I'm not fighting Canelo. I'm not going to fight Canelo for this amount of money. Tell Canelo to take a pay cut. He's making $35 million. You know, I'm not going to fight this dude for $1 million. I'm not going to for whatever he was offered, because they wanted Canelo to come down to something like $26 million, right? So like take $9 million off of what he's supposed to get and give it to the other fucking fighters so that DAZN's books can be balanced. And DAZN is like, I'm sitting, Canelo's like, I'm just sitting around here waiting for you to meet your obligations. And I haven't read his contract, obviously, right? Have not read his contract, don't know the specifics of it. However, based off what's off the media, he's like, I want my $35 million, homie. Give me my $35 million. What the fuck do I care? You pay the fighters who are going to fight me. I'm not taking a pay cut for these dudes. And no, and Canelo shouldn't, because DAZN is the ones that signed up for that stupid ass contract. Everybody else has some flexibility. Everybody else got flexibility. DAZN signed him to that dumbass contract. And I said it, just like remember I said it. And somebody can co-sign that I said this. When HBO went out of business, I was like, Canelo's smartest move for his money is PBC because they don't need a promoter, right? You don't need a promoter. And so if you don't have your somebody tied to your promotional dollars, you're going to make more money with the PBC, right? And I was like, DAZN doesn't even have any subscribers. Why would Canelo go there where nobody's going to be able to watch him fight, right? And then I was like, ESPN, oh, hell no. DAZN, Canelo, and ESPN, those are all pay-per-view events. Why would Canelo go to Top Rank, sign with Bob Arum at Top Rank? And I'm sorry, what was the problem too? ESPN was on the outs. Golden Boy was on the outs with ESPN. Because Golden Boy, if you remember, Golden Boy originally had the ESPN contract. And they don't have, their fucking, their stable of fighters is so fucking whack, they couldn't give any good fights in and of themselves. Top Rank barely can. So when I was okay, but for Canelo to go to DAZN, they're going to have to guarantee him like $35 million a fight. I was like, they're going to have to guarantee him $35 million a fight because that's what he was earning from his pay-per-views. So you're going to have to pay Canelo Alvarez enough money to take him off of pay-per-view and put him on a small app. You have to pay a lot of money to get Canelo to do that. And so the only way that you could get is say, Canelo, I'll guarantee your pay-per-views, right? Like you were going to get a pay-per-view. If you were going to do a pay-per-view against Jermell Charlo or a pay-per-view against another pay-per-view against Gennady Golovkin on ESPN or in order for them to, he was going to have to take all risk away from Canelo. Like, you sign with us, don't worry about our platform taking off or whatever. We're just going to guarantee you the money. We want you that bad. So DAZN paid up the money. And now when the shit hits the bricks, they're going to ask the dude to cut him a break, to cut them a break? Fuck no. Not while you spending $400 million on the rights for these TV programs, dude. You said that you were happy to tell everybody, dog. Napoleon Armstrong in the building. What's good, man? Appreciate you, man. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. I do see you around other chats, so I was like, damn, did I fuck over Napoleon Armstrong? Good to see you, man. Thank you for being here, man. Matthew Valentine says, shout out. I'm late. What it is with Tank and Devin, keep grinding. Oh, Tank and Devin going back and forth about that. Unless the lawyers were smart enough to put an out, they're screwed. Call them screwed. Call them screwed. Or renegotiate the deal. That ain't shit. Renegotiate the deal. But I think eventually they're going to fight. But they're in a bad situation with Canelo because Canelo can wait him out. Dude, Canelo should have crazy fucking dough sitting in the bank. You know what I mean? He's 70 million. He could have 70 million. He could be sitting on 70 million. Right? Just say he's sitting on 20. Just say he's sitting flat on top 20 million. There ain't shit you can make Canelo Alvarez do if he's sitting flat on 20 million. He's 28 years, he's only 30. He'd be like, shit, I'm just gonna sit the year out. That ain't shit. You ain't even getting on me about steroids, so it doesn't matter. I juice up, get the weight off like this shit. Exactly, dog. He said Canelo wiping his ass with $100 bills. You ain't gonna force Canelo to do shit. And all these dudes been cow-tied for him for so fucking long. I think he might be the most privileged fighter in boxing history. I think Canelo might be the most privileged fighter in boxing history. Crazy. It's crazy. $35 million a fight for fighting no fucking body on an app that nobody watches. They they lowered the level of steroids. They eliminated mandatories. Dude, these guys they got their heads, they are head, shoulders, and torso up Canelo Alvarez's ass. Go get your money, Canelo. Get your money, Canelo. Would never do no shit like that. Never do no shit like that if his ass looked like Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is definitely underrated. Lomo's the second most privileged? No. Tyson Fury. Easy. Tyson Fury for number 2. Tyson Fury is a cheating fucking scumbag, and everybody fucking knows it. And they're saying jack shit about it. The dude tests positive for performance-enhancing drugs. They say shit about it. The dude had a gash this big on his fucking face from the second round of a fight, bleeding all over the place. Easy fight to stop. Easy fight to stop. 99 out of 100 fights. Oh, excuse me. 999 out of 1,000 fights would have been stopped. They let Tyson Fury continue to fight. Canelo out, he's under investigation by the British Boxing Board of Control for tampering with evidence, right? Or paying somebody to give false testimony. And do you think the Nevada State Athletic Commission would hold up a fight for Tyson Fury, even though a neighboring boxing commission has him under investigation? No. No. Number 1 is Canelo. Number 2 is Tyson Fury. 2 is Tyson Fury. Number 3, Monster Inoue. Number 3 is Monster Inoue. Because don't no fucking body, that motherfucker does not believe on anybody's fucking pound for pound list. Get the fuck out of here. He has done zilch, zero to be ahead of Jamal Charlo, Gervonta Davis, people got him ahead of Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford. You've got people that got him above Terrence Crawford. So no, number 1 is Canelo. Number 2 is Tyson Fury. Number 3 is Monster Inoue. And let Monster Inoue pop off at all. His ass is going to be whoop through the roof because they are absolutely positively trying to create that dude. Yeah, Lomachenko hella privileged, but he ain't out there cheating. Yeah. I mean, he got some privileged shit with that championship shot. Is what true? Lewis Michaels. Oh, Gary Russell said he broke Harper's jaw and said he'll beat him now. Is that true? I don't know and fuck no. I don't know and fuck no. Gary Russell Jr. might have fought Terrence Crawford in the amateurs for all I know. And they might have been close to the same size. Gary Russell Jr. could have broke his jaw. But is Gary Russell Jr. beating Terrence Crawford now? Fuck no. Not even kind of close. Ain't no way, no how, never, nada, nip. Don't even mention it, quite honestly. But the sad thing is, though, that's what Gary Russell Jr. has to do in order to get his name anywhere out there. Because the boxing media will not talk about Gary Russell Jr. That Gary Russell Jr. should be in the top. If Gary Russell Jr. was... You know, I'm real trigger. I got a trigger finger. If I don't see your name Tyson, if I look up 4 or 5 more and I don't see you, I am throwing your ass out just for your name. Yes, I'm petty, and you know this for sure. I predict bullshit individuals. Why you changing your name to Tyson and putting laughing emojis? That tells me you more than likely need to be getting up out of here, dog, because you're going to be brewing and start some dumb shit soon. Call that a perfunctory, not a perfunctory. Call that, what do you call it? Preemptive. Call that a preemptive get the fuck out. Okay? I mean, you look like you up to something, dog. And we don't play, dog. Shamir Ogden, Fannon, how does Danny Garcia beating Errol Spence change the complexion of boxing? How does it? It doesn't. It doesn't change the complexion of boxing. You have one American champ switched out for another American champ, and you're going to have the boxing media ignore both. because they're not on the payroll because boxing media is not Tyson's a troll. Yeah, he looked like one with the name and the laughies, and he didn't say shit else. You got to go. Look, man. Damn. What was I talking about? I missed it. Oh, I was talking about Gary Russell Jr. Yeah. You asked what would happen if Danny Garcia beat Errol Spence. Nothing would change. Nothing would change because the boxing media already have like the PBC on pause. They have them on pause, as if that means we're not helping you grow. When you win, what's that guy's name from the Zone in Sports Illustrated? What's that dude's name, dude? Yeah, I don't mind self-made. I don't mind at all, homie. No, I won't throw you out because I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like throwing everybody out. You close to it, though. I'm sure somebody will find your ass and bop you upside the head. I know Danny's not going to defeat Spence anyway, and I know that was kind of a leading thing. But I'm going to actually answer the question because it's close. Because it's close to the topic of the video. The PBC is on timeout from the boxing media. ESPN, Ring Magazine, Sports Illustrated, any of the mainstream media, and a good amount of the secondary level media are not giving any play to the PBC beyond what is necessary. So, for example, they're going to announce the Jermall Charlo fight. They will announce the Jermall Charlo fight. They will tell you what is taking place. They will tell you what's taking place in the fight. But they're not going to sell the fighters to you. And in fact, what's going on Southern T Boxing, and Kurt Harriman said, thank you for all the hard work. Peace, man. Thank you so much for the support. When you guys support, it definitely makes the work worth it. I'll tell you. Thank you so much. I really, really, truly appreciate the super chat, and I appreciate you guys coming by the chat. So as far as how that's going to change, it's not. Somebody from the PBC has to break out of the top. And once they break out of the top, then the complexion of boxing is going to change. Because they will have nowhere else to go but to the PBC. Kind of like with Floyd Mayweather. They didn't have any choice but to cover Floyd Mayweather. No choice. Because Floyd Mayweather was already the shit. And Floyd Mayweather became the shit before there was a PBC, right? When it was Golden Boy. When Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya partnered on those series of fights, that made Floyd Mayweather Jr., that took Floyd Mayweather Jr. to the next level of the next level of the next level. And that was before the establishment of the PBC as its own distinct. Hey, what's going on? Clarence McLean said, hello, Mr. Fannon from McLean's Promotions. Shout out to McLean's Promotions. So they gave him some press. They had to give him press. They couldn't get out of that. But building up fighters, they don't do that for PBC fighters. Like Monster Inoue is being built up by ESPN. Putting Monster Inoue on the top 10 pound-for-pound fight list well over a year ago, right? So when he comes to the United States, they'll say, he's one of the best fighters in the world. ESPN's #1 pound-for-pound fighter. See, that is ESPN building up a fighter, right? Using their platform to tell fight fans who the best fighters are. That's what the pound-for-pound list is with ESPN, and that's what the pound-for-pound list is with Ring Magazine. But because the PBC is not, from what I see and what I call paper play with the media, then the media is not going to give them any of that extra shit. They're going to sit on them. They're just going to sit on them. And that's what's happening with Gary Russell Jr. Dude, Gary Russell Jr. is every bit the fucking fighter that Monster Inoue is, then some. And ain't nobody in their fucking right mind going to say Monster Inoue is going to beat Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is 2 levels above that dude, man, in that ring. And Monster Inoue is big enough to go to 126. You think that they're ever going to make that fight? No. Because that's not a good fight for boxing fans, but because it's not going to sell Monster Inoue. What it's going to do is it's going to get Monster Inoue beat. So Monster Inoue is beaten. Does that mean they're going to then build up Gary Russell Jr.? No. Same thing happened with Nonito Donaire and Guillermo Rigondeaux. That should have been for any other fighter that was not a black Cuban southpaw, right? That should have been that shit should have set his career off. What happened to Guillermo Rigondeaux? Guillermo Rigondeaux probably would have made more money in his career if he would have lost to Nonito Donaire. Might have made more money if he lost, because then they might have been able to try to feed Guillermo Rigondeaux to somebody else and got him a couple paydays. But instead, what did they do? They did this to him. That's what they did. That's what the media does. That's what they've done this is what they've done to Deontay Wilder. If they could have got away with it, this is what they would have done to Deontay Wilder for his whole career. That's how they do. Cut off the media, right? Because the media is what I just showed you. YouTube is a medium between me and you. So if they don't like a fighter, the media does this. Hey, man, we got well over 400 people in the building, man. We got 183 likes. Can you please get the likes up so that way you can get your notifications? I need for you to get your notifications. Okay, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And I'm asking politely, I ain't ordering you. A whole bunch of channels be like, man, press my fucking like button. Fuck is wrong with y'all? What y'all up in here ear hustling for and ain't participated at all? Hit the like button, man. Frampton and Quig Duck Rigo, exactly. But Arturo Gatti, Hall of Famer. Arturo Gatti, Hall of Famer. Piece of shit fighter, Hall of Famer. Why? Because the media, I'm telling you, the media think that they own boxing. They believe that they have the power. They believe they have the power to make fighters, break fighters, and fighters. Thoughts on Burchell Valdez? Burchell? I think Oscar Valdez is a piece of shit. I don't think he's a good fighter at all. Not impressed with Oscar Valdez at all. Miguel Burchell should run through him. Miguel Burchell is a very good fighter, but he's a second level, but that's not Gary Russell Jr. That's not Gervonta Tank Davis. What's going on, CBD? Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you much. CBD. Hey, CBD. Is that the same CBD? Man, that shit is hilarious, CBD. I love that name, man. Hey, Gregory X in the building says, smash that like button and tweak the algorithm for Fannon International Boxing Channel. Yes, sir, man. Slap that algorithm in the mouth, man. I need you to slap it in the mouth. Slap it in the mouth, man. What do I think about Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz? That if Gervonta Davis is not drained, he's going to kill Leo Santa Cruz. 7 rounds, 8 rounds. Gary Russell, if Leo Santa Cruz fights like Leo Santa Cruz usually fights, he should die. You know what I'm saying? Like he should be getting just completely and utterly mocked because he's a high he's a high output type of fighter, man. He throws a lot of shots, and he's not a big puncher. And if you throw a lot of shots, that feeds right into Gervonta Davis, because Gervonta Davis is a yak away from putting your ass to sleep. You know what I mean? He's big, he's strong. Oh, you got Valdez? You got Valdez over Burchell? Oscar Valdez over Burchell? I don't see it, man. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, Clarence McLean said, if he die, he die. Hey, dog, if you die, you die. That shit's on you, homie. But nah, man, I ain't feeling no. I mean, look, Oscar Valdez may fight well against Miguel Burchell. He may. It'll be a lot of rock'em sock'em to that fight. I have Miguel Burchell winning that fight. And I have Miguel Burchell stopping Oscar Valdez. I think that's a late round stoppage for Burchell. Now, maybe I need to look at Valdez a little more closely, and I'll do that before the fight is actually made and all that. But I got Burchell over Valdez. Man, what's going on, Jedi King Pudge? He said, hey, man, I like that Coogee sweater. Said Gary Russell looking for all the smoke. Some of these suckers got to start making these fights. Food OG, yeah. I mean, Gary Russell Jr., see, I got this shit coming up, though. I got my pound for pound video. I got my pound for pound top 10. I'm about to do one. Fuck that. I'm about to do one. I'm going to start posing, say, you're not wrong. We saw his last fight. What's that Dane Watson? Oh, yeah. Like, if Valdez gets trained, good strategy, he might do something. Yeah. I said, Fannon, stop being like Fannon. I said, Valdez is trash. Yeah, I mean, he's, to me, blah, Felix, what's the Puerto Rican dude at lightweight's name? Felix Verdejo, Felix Verdejo, whatever. Jojo Diaz, whatever. Oscar Valdez, whatever. Miguel Burchell got a little animal in him, though. I mean, Burchell got a little animal in him. And he can fight from the inside. He can fight from the outside. You know, I rocks with Miguel Burchell. Is Danny Garcia a bit of a one-trick pony? Well, he got a trick that'll lay your ass out. That's for sure. But he does rely on other fighters taking the lead on him. And I just think that in the fight against Errol Spence Jr., that if Errol just boxes him, CRB Fannon, how at-home workouts coming? Cool, they're cool. I'm working every day like I go to walk, and then I'll do shoulders. You know, I'll do the push-ups, and I'll do like a variation of back and shoulder exercises. But then with my fucked up ass knees, can't do the jump rope like I want to do the jump rope. So, you know, I'm making sure that I'm doing it every day or multiple times a week. But I'm hoping my knee can I got to get to something where I can amp up the workouts again. But it's cool. Yeah, that's one trick I wish I had. Yeah, you got that right. He said, Steve J said, I think JoJo's all right. He beat Tevin Farmer convincingly. Yeah, but I remember the Gary Russell Jr. fight. Tevin Farmer made JoJo Diaz look good. Gary Russell Jr. made him look like a rank amateur. He looked like Gary Russell Jr. made JoJo Diaz look like a fucking amateur. That fight wasn't close. It was monstrously lopsided. He said, JoJo Diaz can fight, man. Kettlebell will save the knee. What with a kettlebell? Like lifting with a kettlebell? What's the kettlebell? Oh, or versus squats. For now, why Gary won't go up? Dog, Gary can't go up, man. First of all, ain't nobody gonna fight Gary at 130 pounds. What is he at? 126? Yeah. Nobody in 130 pounds is gonna fight him. They're not gonna fight him. Turmeric, yeah, I know I need to get back up with the turmeric. I know I do. I do. Thank you. Man, JoJo Diaz can fight, man. Kettlebell will save the knee. Thank you. Oh, kettlebell heart swings. Oh, like that. Yeah, because then I won't really have to do too much. Okay, I'll fuck with that. I've seen that. I'd watch Gary Russell and Burchell. I mean, really, man, the fight that I want to see for Gary Russell Jr. is Shakur Stevenson. Because that's a great fight, man. I hope Shakur don't just. I mean, Shakur's probably already going to 130. But man, it's just a great. I mean, it's a fighter. It's the career of a great fighter, man. And it's just going because these fucking boxing media people, they want you to do like what did they do? Like what Chris Mannix said. I mean, this shit is. I should show you what this fuck boy said, man. Give me 1 second, man. By the way, man, today's Patreon video is about for you guys on Patreon. I'm doing my page. I did a Patreon video Friday. I got a Patreon video that's up now. That's actually going to be all the way up. And this one, that shit is about being blacks being buck broke. It's about buck breaking. I talk about buck breaking. I talk about what's that dude's name with the more. What's that dude's name? What's the guy's name? Nick Cannon. I talk about the difference between Nick Cannon and what's that bootlicking nigga's name? The big black one. Big as a house, weak as a fucking noodle. Mine weak as a noodle. What's his name, dude? Big ass dude, man. What is that big ass dude's name? So I can get back on the boxing talk. I'm gonna talk about Charlo Rosario next. What is that dude's name, dude? Terry Crews. Terry Crews. I talk about Terry Crews. I talk about the difference between Terry Crews and Nick Cannon. Long and short, cut Nick Cannon a break. Throw that motherfucker underneath the bus, okay? Nick Cannon got kids to feed. You know what I mean? He got people to feed. There's a whole group of black people that need money from him. So let him live and continue to earn money for others. But Terry Crews, the worst piece of shit that there is, cancel that motherfucker yesterday. Now, as far as Rosario and Jermell Charlo, yes, Rosario can crack. Rosario is a good fighter. Jermell Charlo's 12 rounds to nothing. Jermell 12 round to nothing shutout if he's smart. Jermell might get him out of there otherwise. Because, I mean, Jason Rosario he's got heavy hands, but he has to hit you a few times. And J-Rock, because he fights at that middle distance, you know, where he's just kind of slipping and rolling and he's swimming without getting wet, right? Rest in peace to Nazim Richardson. You know, J-Rock tries to swim without getting wet. That Philly style. You're trying to stay there, stay in the heat, slipping, bop, 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 you know, bop, bop, all that good stuff. And every once in a while he get touched. He got wet. You know what I mean? And when he got wet, his head rung. That's not how Charlo fights, dude. Charlo can stay away from you. If he rings you, hit him once, you ain't got it. Jermell's got the skills so where you don't have to hit, you may not hit him again for a little while. You know what I mean? And he's faster. I think he might hit just as hard, you know? He said Rosario's a very good counterpuncher too. Yeah, we'll see. Look, those belts are cursed. Those belts are fucking cursed. The IVF and the WBA 154-pound belts, dog, can't nobody hold on to them shits. Can't nobody hold on to them shits. Jermell can't, Jared Hurd couldn't hold on to it. J-Rock couldn't hold on to it. And I think Jared Hurd is better than Jason Rosario. You just gonna run up and he's fighting tougher competition. You know what I mean? Like both those guys, both Jared Hurd and Jason Rosario and Jared Hurd and J-Rock. It's all these fucking J's. JJJ, all these damn J's. Jared Hurd and Jason Rosario both took L's holding those belts, and they fought fighters that were a lower caliber of fighter than Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean? Ronnie Shields as Derek James fought Charlo well. Yeah. Hey, man, Charlo's a beast, man. Charlo's fucking around and heading up towards being one of my favorite fighters. Like, he's in my top 5 favorite fighters now. After that, after he got that back from Tony Harrison, he went up in my book. He's there. Yeah, man, he's up in my top 5 favorite fighters, man. I'm not saying top 5 pound for pound, even though I would put his ass there too. But 5 for 5, you know, top 5 of the fighters that get down. because he's a lot like Jermel's a lot like Terrence Crawford for me, man. I still think Tony Harris can come back from his loss. Yeah, for sure. Who are my favorite fighters? My top 5 favorite fighters right now? Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford, Gervonta Tank Davis, Jermell Charlo. Then, of course, my favorite fighter emeritus is Guillermo Rigondeaux. Favorite fighter emeritus. I'm gonna get my franchise. I'm gonna do like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do like the WBC does. I'm gonna make up an extra fucking belt so I can, because I can't make up my mind. So my number one. Now those are. I'm not counting any prospects. Nah, not Canelo. Canelo was my top 5, but he popped dirty. He popped dirty. I mean, my top 5 favorite fighters. He was one of my top 5 favorite fighters. But then he wouldn't fight Charlo. And he wouldn't fight Charlo. And he did the whole fucking thing with the franchise belt. He did the franchise bullshit. Royal since day one TV. Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. You asked me who my favorite fighters are. You didn't ask me. Royal, listen to the question. If somebody asks me who my favorite fighters are, that's asking me who I like, not who I think is the best, who I like, right? Who I like. Deontay Wilder is one of my 5 favorite fighters. I like him. I want him to win. I am a fan of him. Inside the ring, outside the ring. He's what boxing is about. No BS. Number 2, Errol Spence Jr. Fucking workhorse. Workhorse. You never going to see a fight with Errol Spence Jr. that is not exciting, that is not a top level fight, right? You're not going to see a boring fight out of Errol Spence Jr. You just not going to see it. His fight with Sean Porter was exciting. His fight with Mikey Garcia was exciting. His fight before that, who did he fight before that? He fought Carlos Ocampo with the one-punch knockout. Lamont Peterson, I enjoyed that. I enjoy all these fights. After that, Terrence Crawford. How can you fucking not like Terrence Crawford as a fighter? He comes to fight. He switches from orthodox to southpaw. He's not going to coast the fight out. He could easily win a fight from the outside and just stick and move and all of that. But what does he do? He still gets in there, gives you the best, looks to try to get you out of there. What's there not to like about Terrence Crawford? And he's my number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Love Terrence Crawford as a fighter. Gervonta Davis. What the fuck is not to like about Gervonta Davis? He's on a 12. He's like on a 12-fight knockout streak. You seeing this dude putting people like yak on the ground. Of course I like him. He reminds me of Aaron Pryor. Aaron Pryor, that defense to offense, that just animal. He's just, dude. Gervonta's a fucking animal. You know, he's not quite as much of an animal as Aaron Pryor, but dog, he's an animal. That's my dude. I like Gervonta Davis. What he did to Jose Pedraza, man, go back and watch that Jose Pedraza fight, dude. How can you not like Tank Davis? He said, you think Tank makes 130 easy? Nah, I don't think he makes 135 easy. I don't think he makes 140 easy. Shit, I just think he just got an issue. He winds up making it, but you know, it is what it is, dog. For now, our favorites list is damn near the same. Yeah, man, he's only 25. Yeah, he's young. And then what did I finish it up with? With Jermell Charlo. Come on, man. Jermell Charlo was a fight before the fight. Jermell starts fights before the fight. Jermell looked like he ready to fight in the middle. Anytime Jermell Charlo starts talking, it sounds like there's a fight about to pop off. The dude can punch. The dude can box. He's again, and all of these fighters that I'm mentioning, all these fighters are highly skilled fighters that go for the kill. They go for the kill. There ain't no coasting it out. There ain't no coasting it out. And I think, yeah, those are my dudes. Although those are my favorite five favorite fighters. But then, of course, Guillermo Rigondeaux is my favorite fighter emeritus because, you know, ain't nobody going to fight him. So Monster's not going to fight him. You know, Navrati's not going to fight him. These dudes are not going to fight him. You know, the only way, like Gary Russell Jr., the only way Gary Russell Jr. is going to get a fight is at 140. 140. Regis program. Yeah, we'll make it. Yeah. But the boxing media is never going to push it. And we lose all the, and so many boxing fans don't know anything about these great fighters because of people like Chris Mannix. And let me show you what Chris Mannix wrote. I'm going to put this shit out here. Put this motherfucker on blast. Hold on a second. I think I might have, I don't know. Did I forward this? Did I forward this tweet? Damn, how do I get my own? Oh, man. By the way, rest in peace, Willie Savannah. I'm sorry. I'm way over the. I messed up, man. I'm sorry. Former trainer of Juan Baby Bull Diaz and a great trainer out of Texas passed away today, or passed away. I found out about it today. His name is Coach Willie Savannah. And in our tradition, we got to respect the game. Even if the game won't respect us, we going to respect the game. Give it 1 second. My computer's running a little slow. But Chris Mannix, man, said that the reason, here we go. All right. In honor of rest in peace, power, and glory. All of the above, man. Tomorrow ain't promised. Celebrate your people while they're here, man. Fannon, how are they still ducking Rigo? He's 40 years old. You think they would jump in a fight with him? Nah, because it'll still break your jaw. And Monster Inoue is a fake, dog. Monster Inoue ain't like that, dude. Monster Inoue ain't like that. That's the one. Oh, Boots. Fannon, who wins between Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz? Jaron Ennis. Don't believe it, dog. Don't believe Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis. For sure. I feel strong on that one. I don't know if anybody beating Jaron Ennis. Dog. I don't know if anybody's beating Jaron Ennis. With the exception of, you know, the welterweights that are already there. I'm not going to disrespect Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, you know, Sean Porter, and all those guys to say that Ennis is going to beat those guys right now because Ennis hasn't had his step-up fight yet. But I'll tell you this. Y'all better hope that there's something wrong with that dude. You better hope he ain't got a chin. You better hope he ain't got a chin. Better hope he loses focus. Or he's got some glaring weakness. Because if he's got a chin, he's going to mop Virgil Ortiz. If he has a chin, he's going to mop Virgil Ortiz. Not beat him, mop him. Mop him. Mop him. Kareem Cunningham, if you don't know how to spell his name, don't call him a hype job. Because clearly you don't know who the fuck he is. You just spelled this dude's name. E-N-S-E. If you don't know how his name is spelled, and he's not got some long name like Kerstides or what's the dude's name? What's the guy's name that's supposed to be fighting Lipinets? Abu Karev. If you're not talking about some long ass name like that, Ennis, Ennis. You'd remember it if you ever saw it written down, if you'd ever seen him fight. Because it's only, 6 letters? You'd remember that. Nah, dog. And ain't nobody even hyping him. I mean, if he's hyped, Don, when you going to get a white fighter on that list? If Lomachenko beats Teofimo Lopez, he'll be there. The closest one is Rigondeaux. I mean, the closest one. Who's the closest? The closest one is Lomachenko for sure. I would have said Josh Taylor, but he's a fucking bitch who fucking trying to go in on me for some fucking reason. You know what I mean? So I would like to say I like Josh Taylor, but fuck Josh Taylor. Everybody look like Josh Taylor now. You know? I don't know why he wanted to shit on me. I've been doing support videos for that fuck boy for the last 2.5 years. So I would have said Josh Taylor because I like how Josh Taylor fights, but he's just a bitch outside the ring. It's just what it is. You know? Yeah, Lomachenko's a special fighter for no doubt. Oh, Caleb Plant's being ducked by Billy Joe Saunders. He don't want that shit. Billy Joe Saunders don't want that, but Billy Joe Saunders is a very good fighter. Don't get me twisted. Rigondeaux was hurt. Rigondeaux been hurt a lot of times. Rigondeaux's also broken a lot of people's jaws that hurt him. I've seen Rigondeaux get wobbled. Every person that has wobbled Guillermo Rigondeaux got knocked the fuck out. Not too shortly after that. Shit. Like, yeah, dude, you gambling with that. You gambling with that dude. What do I think about Josh Kelly? Not a lot. I think that he's trying to fight in a style that is not appropriate and that he's going to get beat fighting like that. I don't think he's athletic enough to pull that off. I think he might be athletic enough against some domestic level UK fighters to get away with this, to get away with his hands down like that. But if he's 147, he's right. He ever gets in there with Errol Spence, somebody like that, he's going to get demolished. Demolished. Now, I am kind of impressed that he even got to a draw against Ray Robinson, but, you know, I think he might have lost that fight to Ray Robinson. So I don't think a lot of them. To me, the best UK fighter is, I don't know, man. Tyson Fury's a steroid cheat, so it's tough on him. Probably AJ. It's probably holding down the ship for UK boxing right now for me. I like Josh Taylor as a fighter, but I don't think he's gonna. That's it for him at 140. He moves up to 147 pounds. They're gonna have to like section off the WBO belt for him or something, because he's gonna get mopped by the top welterweights. He'll get mopped by the top welterweights. Errol Spence. I would love nothing more than them to make an Errol Spence Jr. fight with Josh Taylor. That would be the ugliest ass whooping. That might be the ass whooping of the fucking decade. The way Josh Taylor fights, because he ain't got enough fucking sense. He ain't got enough sense not to fight Errol Spence Jr. like that. Fannon, who is the fighter that they call the truck? You're talking about Simpson? Truck Simpson? Beterbiev versus Bivol? Oh, you're doing something else. Bivol can't make 168. I take Beterbiev any day of the week over any of them. Best UK fighter, Daniel Dubois right now. I'm not going to put Daniel Dubois over Anthony Joshua. But he is a great prospect coming out of there for sure. For sure. And I think I like him more than the American prospect. That's pretty decent. Big baby Jared Anderson. But they could come to heads at a certain point in time. I think that would be a really good fight. But Jared Anderson is just a little bit. He's not as far along in his career as Daniel Dubois. I'm also waiting to see what's going to happen with this cat out of France, Tony Yoka. I mean, I know he popped dirty, news, a super heavyweight Olympian pops dirty. I met Dubois, lovely, funny man. Yeah, I mean, most of these guys are going to be good people when you meet them up close. I've never really met anybody that I thought was an asshole when I met him. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was probably the closest to that. Like, just real froggy type. I met Floyd Mayweather. I was around Floyd way before he hit, the top levels. I saw he was still like, when he was getting introduced after Kingsley Akiki in the fighter announcements. For now, what do you think of Edgar Berlanga? I like him. I think you're talking about the Puerto Rican dude out of New York that's on that like 14 punch, that 13 streak knockout, first round knockouts. I mean, I think he's obviously very strong, but you're not really going to be able to tell anything with him until he gets to like 20 fights and he starts fighting guys his own size and his own strength. Right? But right now I like him. Right now I like him. And I know that he's with Freddie Roach now. I know that he moved up to another trainer, but yeah, I like him. And I like to support the Puerto Rican fighters out of New York. I like him. Wishing the young man well. These fights will be weird on pay-per-view without fans. Nah, man, ain't gonna make me no difference. Estrada or Chocolatito? Estrada. Juan Carlos Estrada. I'll take him over Chocolatito. I think he's a little bit bigger naturally, and I think he's, But I did like watching Chocolatito in his last fight. He looked good to me. Chocolatito, I enjoyed his last fight because I was like, yeah, that's why they thought that he was skilled. Like once all of the smoke, they got done blowing smoke up my ass about Chocolatito, and he got knocked out. And he got beat, then he got knocked out by Soroy Vasai, and then he took that break. When he came back for the last fight that he came back, his last fight that he had, I didn't have any expectations around him. So I was able to just look at him and watch him fight. And I was like, dude, this guy is good. This is an enjoyable fight. He is very skilled. He slips punches on the inside well. He's got a lot of action. He's throwing a lot of punches. It was really fun to watch. So I was really happy to see Chocolatito. So Chocolatito, in a way, kind of reminds me of like what I think about Ray Martinez. The 115? Is he 115? Guy out of Mexico. No, he's smaller than that. He might be like at 108 or 112. But way down there, small weight class. But he's a good fighter, very exciting to watch. But they blow it for me when you start saying that these guys are the top guys in the sport. Because it's just not fucking the case. I like the little weight classes. I like minimum weight. I don't mind. I like watching minimum weight fights. I like watching flyweight fights and bantamweight fights. I like watching those guys. But when you try to convince me that a dude that I could fit inside my fucking pocket is the fucking best fighter in the world because he beat up another guy that could fit inside my pocket in some rock'em sock'em robot fucking type of fight. Nah, dude, that's not the type. They're not the top skilled fighters. Like, they act like those smaller weight classes is where all the skills are. No, they are not. The lower weight classes are where the skills are not. The skills are in the middle weight classes. The most highly skilled fighters are between the weights of 126 pounds and 160 pounds. That's the high skilled range. Because anything below that, they can take all kind of shots to the dome and not get knocked out. They're getting hit by a guy that weighs 105 pounds. So ain't nobody getting knocked out. So since they know that they're not getting knocked out, they can take the shots. Where a heavyweight could never do that. You can't have no heavyweight fight like those little ass itty bitty dudes taking all them fucking shots. No, they get hit all the time. There's a bunch of punches being thrown and a bunch of punches landing. They're strong on the clean, effective punching and effective aggressiveness. Those are the little man weight classes. Those two. Clean and effective punching and effective aggressiveness. Not defense, not ring generalship. Same thing applies to the big men. It is clean, effective punching, effective aggressiveness, clean, effective punching. Defense is not as big a part of the heavyweight classes because they're not letting all those punches go, because if they get hit by one, so it's more of a slow pace. But even then, defense is more important in the heavyweight division than it is in the itty-bitty weight divisions. For me, the itty-bitty divisions are the least, from what I see, watching them 105, 108 pounders, they're the least skilled. They're the least skilled. They're like that, like I said, like that Rock'em Sock'em robot game. I don't know if you guys remember, but as a little kid, used to have these, like, there's this boxing game where there would be, you know, like a little mechanical guy here and a little mechanical guy here, and all you got to do is hit his head. You hit his head, and his hands go out. Hit his head, his hands go out. So you and your friend are sitting there just banging on top of your boxer's head, and they're going until one of them connects. That's what them little ass weight classes look like to me. But they play it off like they're so skilled. No, dude. 126 is highly skilled. 130 is highly skilled. 135 is highly skilled. 140, 147, 154, 160. And then up to 168. At least that's how I see it. You said, oh, Roy Jones magically twists his ankle in the first 20 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised, dog. Deontay Wilder has the best chin in boxing. I don't know. I wouldn't say that. He's got a good chin because he got up. He can clearly take a punch because there was no padding on that glove and he kept getting up. He got a lot of heart, dog. He got a lot of heart. I don't pay attention to 126. I'll fuck around with like 118. I mean, I watch 118. I watch 115. I watch 118. I watch 122. I watch those three. I'm not really messing around with the 105s, 108, 112 because there's literally nobody in them weight classes. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody in them weight classes. There's not 20 world class. There's not 50 world class fighters between those weight classes combined. So, you know, yeah, Spence has a good chin. Who has the best chin, man? Best chin. Jermell got a good chin. Jared Hurd got a good chin. Jared Hurd's got a very good chin. Too good of a chin. Because he damn sure takes him on the chin. I told you, no one said JoJo can't fight. You lied, Adrian, not wasting any more time on you. But you got one more lie to tell. What's this, Adrian? What you lying about? JoJo Diaz can fight. JoJo Diaz just ain't that good. He got mopped by Gary Russell. Dude, that wasn't a competitive fight between the two of them. Gary Russell Jr. just did what he wanted. He got beat up by a weight class below. He moved up to an easier fight. He fought Tevin Farmer, dude. Tevin Farmer ain't that good. All that talk about Tevin Farmer. What do you think of Gary Russell at 126? I think he's the best fighter at 126. I think he's the best fighter at 126. I think he's the best fighter in the world below the weight of 130. Gary Russell's the best fighter in the world below 130 and below. That's what I think, because Gervonta is not at 130. I think Gary Russell Jr. is the best fighter in the world from 130 pounds to the ground. And they won't fight him. Josh Warrington ain't fighting him. Josh Warrington ain't even acting like he wants to fight him. Josh Warrington's looking to fight with, who's the other dub? Not even Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson's gone. Navrati get his ass whooped by Gary Russell Jr. in a walk. Man, Navrati ain't going no fucking where near Gary Russell Jr. That is an ass whooping, embarrassing, one-sided, lopsided fight. Navrati ain't getting around. Navrati ain't getting around. Let me repeat that. Navrati is not getting a round on Gary Russell Jr. He's not going to get around. Man, Navrati is just a bum basher. I hate saying this, Navrati ain't shit but a fucking weight bully. Navrati's 126 fight. He's a 130-pound fighter fighting at 122. Fuck out of here with Navrati. Navrati, man, dude, Navrati might be the most overrated fighter in all of boxing. Him and fucking Jaime Munguia. All that shit is they taking a fighter, they're taking a relatively young fighter or a fighter that can get down to that weight class, putting him in a weight class that he don't belong in, having him beat against a muscle-bound guy that should be fighting in a weight class below. And hey, what's going on, Paul Carrick? Much love in that super chat. Man, please. Nefrati gonna get mopped. Nefrati will get mopped by Gary Russell Jr. Mopped. Nefrati moves to let him move there. He ain't fighting Gary. Hey, Mr. Hernandez, let him fight to 126. I guarantee you he's not fighting Gary Russell Jr. I guarantee you. You know who he's gonna try to fight? Josh Warrington. That's who he's gonna fight. Josh Warrington. He's not going to come. No, I'm calling Nefrati a chicken shit. Nefrati's a chicken shit. Bob Arum's a chicken shit. They ain't coming nowhere near him. Just like Frampton didn't come nowhere near him. Just like Santa Cruz didn't come anywhere near him. Abner Mares didn't want no smoke with him. None of them dudes wanted them smoke with them, dude. They don't want no smoke with no southpaw. No southpaw like Gary Russell Jr. or no southpaw like Guillermo Rigondeaux. All of them pulled out their panties and waved it in the air. They all reached into where's your panties? Shook their panties in the fucking air, okay? Because they some hoes. Straight up, dog. What do you think about the Gary Russell Jr.? Gary Russell, I missed the super chat. I think I got him. I got my man. BFTB in the building. What's good, man? He said the GOAT. Thank you, man. What's good with you, man? Can't wait to see your show later on today. Make sure y'all show up to BFTB. The king of that shit talk. Y'all know y'all can't hang with BFTB. Y'all don't like BFTB. Y'all don't like BFTB. Y'all can't do it. Y'all can't do it. Gotta love it, dog. Gotta love it. They trying to make Navarrete and Monster fight. Yeah, they'll do that shit. When they're both signed to ESPN. They'll do that shit. But I don't even think that they're going to give Inoue Navarrete. I don't even think they're going to give him Navarrete. They're going to move Navarrete up because they ain't got it. You will see. Russell versus Inoue. Inoue is going to get his ass whooped. I've already said it. Nobody below 126, nobody below 130 is beating Gary Russell Jr. Nobody. Monster Inoue is going to get his ass whooped by Gary Russell Jr. Whooped by Gary Russell Jr. Navarrete gets his ass whooped by Gary Russell Jr. Carl Frampton gets his ass whooped by Gary Russell Jr. They all know who Gary Russell Jr. is, and none of them let his name get anywhere near their lips. It looked like Leo Santa Cruz was going to say, dude, look what Gary Russell Jr. put his hand around Leo Santa Cruz's cancer-suffering father and threatened him, and he still acted like he didn't want that fight. They're all bitches, okay? They're all bitches. Every one of them at 126. The only exception is Shakur Stevenson. That's the only one because he would fight Shakur. He would fight Gary Russell Jr. He would. That I'm putting on Top Rank. Burchelt beats anyone 130 to 135? No. Miguel Burchelt will lose to. Let me tell you about dog. Let me tell you, it's not the day for that, dog. You guys just go overboard. Do you know that Devin Haney is at 135? Devin Haney will make a joke out of Miguel Burchelt. 12 rounds to nothing. Or knockout. Whichever one you want. Like, if Devin Haney, because I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the lightweights. Devin Haney will beat the piss out of Miguel Burchelt at 130 pounds or 135 pounds. Miguel Burchelt ain't getting out that ring awake against Teofimo Lopez. He ain't getting out awake against Teofimo Lopez. Somebody said something. What was it? Oh, Matt Green, salute to you, man. What's good, man? And BFG said they hate me, GOAT. But they can't get enough of me. You know how it goes. But you know when they say big swing and a miss, Oops. Big swing and a miss. Whack asses. BFTB forever. Yeah. BFTB. You missed the super chat. I don't think I did. BFTB, Matt Green. Much love in that super chat. Patrick, my man, the KU, hey, Bison. We got Macure Maker. Smart move. All you motherfuckers need to go to black schools. I don't understand why y'all don't get it. Macure Maker, that's what's up. No, not allowing racism in here, bro. Somebody says something. I know, because I haven't been good to the Mexican fighters. So maybe there's some Mexicans that get mad at me. But, dog, it's just, I don't know what you want me to say. They're better fighters. It's what it is. If Roberto Duran was fighting at lightweight right now, I'd say Roberto Duran. Miguel Berchelt is the best at 130 right now, though. But I don't think his style's I don't think he's gonna want that smoke with Shakur Stevenson. But now you say Shakur Stevenson beat Gary Russell Jr.? I don't think so. And he'd have to do it. I'll put it this way. He, in a way, is being avoided. Who's avoided anyway? Who's avoided Monster anyway? Anyway's a good fighter, man. I mean, he's a good fighter, but I ain't buying it, dog. They're gonna have to. Yeah, 35 is stacked, dude, for sure. But look, I got to get up. Callum Smith is the bum of the highest bum order. The dude is useless. Hell yeah, he lost to fucking he lost to John Ryder. He lost. Callum Smith should have got that fight. John Ryder won that fight. In my opinion, John Ryder beat that dude. Oh, he's worthless as shit. He's worthless as shit, dog. He's got a nice jab, though, you know? But look, I got to get out of here. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. Thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure you guys check out the videos that we dropped today. Got a lot of really good work coming out today. But go catch up with my man, KQKC Boxing is coming up next. And then immediately after that, check out the great Blue Blood Sports TV and my man, BFTB, Best Fights the Best, with your LDBC lineup that ends up the evening with cats like 78 Sports TV, 503 Lion, Stay Ready Boxing. We got a lot of good stuff for you, man. Thank you, Clarence McClain. I appreciate you. And with that, we out. Peace.